Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efene. Great Malabite, good morning.
Ruben. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Victoria. Tundu. MQ Abiola.
Good morning.
Yes. Let's start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. Ruben, don't worry, one day I will reveal all your names on air. Now we start with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story, Archbishop of Canterbury condemns Nigeria's red listing, calls it travel apartheid, warns restrictions scrapped, travel ban, discriminatory attack on diplomatic relations, Senate tells UK. NCDC confirms 3 new cases. 7 travelers from Nigeria test positive in UK. NCAA threatens to ban international airlines that flout COVID-19 protocols. Here's the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Weber, yesterday waded into this issue of ban. And, of course, the growing outrage as United Kingdom included Nigeria in that red list. And it is without justification. According to the Archbishop of Canterbury, it is travel apartheid. Joining serious voices like that of the UN Secretary General, who first used the term travel apartheid. I hope the UK authorities are listening, because these men are not just making flippant statements. They're talking about what is not correct. And the Nigerian authorities, I hope they are still dialoguing with the UK authorities on this before we slam some measure of reciprocity, as they say in international relations. But other newspapers are also reporting this story. Vanguard newspaper, Omicron, angry governors, senators, reps attack UK government over red list. Urge reversal, say travel ban discriminatory, hasty, racist. Being black doesn't make African less human. Add, it's a wake-up call on Nigeria to self-develop. Seek diplomatic means to resolve matter. 8,000 returnees may be stranded in Nigeria. Reps, Elumelu. Governors task World Health Organization on uniform standards, say UK bans arbitrary stigmatization. Student work visa applications will be processed despite travel restrictions. UK. NCDC reports 3 new cases of Omicron variant. Fauci assures Nigeria of booster vaccines efficacy. Lagos experiencing 4th wave of COVID, says Sanwo-Olu. Yes, the leadership newspaper, Omicron, governors, lawmakers want UK travel ban reversed. Decision hasty, embarrassing to country, according to reps, the House of Representatives. Now, the Punch newspaper, federal government MDAs bar unvaccinated visitors. Lagos to demand jab cards at parties. Ruben, it's like the Lagos state government is taking your admonition. Add some jollof rice to the mix, and people will perhaps take this vaccine, but they are doing it in some other way. Security agents reject identification cards from contractors. Others insist on vaccination card. If you're a contractor with any of the federal government ministries, departments, and agencies, and you have not taken your jab, well, you will not have access to these MDAs. Social gatherings attendees must produce vaccination cards. Others, Lagos threatens prosecution. Disease Control Center dictates 3 more Omicron cases. COVID-19 variant infections rise to 6. Now, if we look at what Lagos state government is doing, let's just take a look at the new guidelines, because this is the party era. And I have a few friends, including Aaron, who is arranging for a party. According to this report, Sanwo-Olu disclosed that all social events in the state must be duly registered to obtain an event safety clearance from Lagos State Safety Commission website. Now, the governor also added, according to that press statement which was released by Commissioner for Information, Gbenga Omotosho, every attendee of a social gathering must present their evidence of vaccination. If you want to eat party jollof rice, then you must have taken your vaccine. Otherwise, you will not be given access. I don't know how many parties Lagos State officials will enforce this, but since this is the rule, I'm sure they will make effort to enforce it. Everybody, irrespective of vaccination status, must be subject to rapid diagnostic test antigen to be conducted at the event venue within 24 hours prior to the event at the laboratories listed below, a number of laboratories listed by the Lagos State government. All inbound passengers who refuse to adhere to COVID-19 protocols will be prosecuted. Lagos getting tough there. Under 18 years of age are unvaccinated and above applies. Guests and service providers with high temperature above 37.5% are to be politely turned back and referred to paramedics or the emergency response team on ground. How this will affect the Christmas mood in Lagos, but if you want to party, take the vaccine. And I think that message is clear enough. Now, if we look at other stories, the Guardian newspaper, currency risk, delayed counterpart fund, insecurity, slow infraco takeoff. Despite mere 2.5 million license, 20-year tenure, Dambata claims counterpart fund is to low economic viable areas based on service delivery. 90% broadband population coverage target by 2025, not realistic. Lagos Fiber Duct project may affect Min1's execution in state. Challenges of infraco multifaceted. Teniola. Now, the planned nationwide broadband deployment is being threatened by the slow takeoff of the licensed infrastructure companies, infracos, despite a longer tenure and cheaper license. But the problem, until recently, when some governors commenced review of right-of-way fees, the cheap licenses were undermined by huge right-of-way fees. Ruben, you asked this question. You asked Funke Okpeke, and she said she will rather sidestep because stakeholders, the government, and the NCC are looking into the matter. It's a major problem. Different governments, they think the best way to raise internally generated revenue, since we accuse them of not doing enough, is to put every high cost of right-of-way. But what it also does is that in those states, they will not have enough penetration when it comes to these broadband facilities.
So do you think it should be decided at the federal government level? Like
no, not necessarily. I think the state governments should be reasonable, come together, discussing with the federal government and the NCC. They should come to a reasonable amount that should be applicable nationwide. Because at the end of the day, those states will suffer because any investor, if your right-of-way is too expensive, they will look elsewhere. And you will complain, no signal in our area. Especially now that we're talking of electronic transmission of results. There should be broadband facility everywhere in the country. And that is the target of these infracos. Hence the license fee is that low, 2.5 million naira.
I think the state should follow the Ekiti state model. Ekiti state model crashed those numbers, and you can see the massive investment going in terms of, fiber and data in that state. They crashed the price. So it welcome investors.
That's the sensible thing to do.
I think they should follow the Ekiti state model. Ekiti state has led the way on that.
And who is the governor? Who is the chairman of the governors forum?
The Ekiti state governor.
So he should tell his colleagues that this is the right way to do things. Of course, let them put heads together and agree on that. Now, the Daily Trust newspaper, bandits stranded, make peace with communities, order ceasefire, allow harvest. Dry season makes them vulnerable. Many killed in Nigerian Air Force strikes in Zamfara, Kaduna. Fresh emissary visits warlord Toji. Well, if the bandits are stranded, I think there should be no let as to what the military is doing. They should keep on the good work, pounding them wherever they find them. And I think we should be able to also go into those forests and remove those bandits, because I don't want to believe that Nigerian forests, especially in places like Niger, Katsina, Kaduna, and Zamfara, are now ungovernable areas where the Nigerian authorities don't have any authority, as it were. So the only way to push that, yes, everywhere is under the control of the government, is to get these people who are turning the forest into hideouts to hound, kidnap Nigerians, innocent Nigerians.
Okay, Manuel Efene, before you take the next paper, let's take a short break. And when we return, the review of newspapers from around the world with Emmanuel Efene will continue. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the morning show. Here on the Arise News channel, still with us is Emmanuel Efene, reviewing top stories in today's newspapers from around the world. Great Malabar.
Yes, Ruben, let's look at the New Telegraph newspaper. How private jet owners defrauded government of over 30 billion naira. Deliberately undervalue aircraft to escape import duties. NCAA issues fresh guidelines to airlines, threatens $3,500 per passenger sanction. Now, this issue of private jets and their owners who are not paying well enough the required import duty, but I think it should be a no-brainer. Even it's not the person who bought that jet that should be telling you the cost. The cost of a particular jet can be found online. So unless they are also conniving with officials of government to undervalue their jets and pay little duty, import duty on these jets. So that is where government should also look at. But if you want to fly a private jet, if you are in a position to fly a private jet, to buy a private jet, for goodness sake, pay the appropriate duty.
Right?
Yes, pay the appropriate duty and enjoy your jet, so that we are not seeing every day private jet owners will be grounded, their jets will be grounded over unpaid duty or defrauding governments, this kind of headlines. To own a private jet, yes, to own a private jet, it means you are well heeled financially. So please, those who own private jets, if you have not paid the appropriate duty, just do so for the sake of everybody, and so that we stop embarrassing ourselves with this kind of news. Now, the Daily Independent newspaper, 2023 election, aggrieved APC, PDP leaders set to launch new party. Vow to dislodge APC, PDP, optimistic of INEC registration. Yes, the aggrieved members, of course, especially after the congresses in various states in the APC, typical of the APC, factionalization here and there in many states of the Federation. And of course, there are those who are also agreeing within the PDP, especially by the time the PDP decides on where its presidential candidate is going to come from. I'm sure there will be many who will be disgruntled and may just join this train that the Daily Independent is reporting. A new party, some will say it's about time we also have a party big enough to challenge APC and the PDP. Others will say we want two strong parties. But a third strong party will not be a bad idea. But we've heard of the third force that turned out to be no force in the past. Now, let me just look at the foreign newspapers quickly. The Times of UK cabinet rift over plan for vaccine passport. Johnson prepares new corps to combat Omicron. Officials are drawing up plan for the introduction of vaccine passport to slow the spread of the Omicron. After Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, told Cabinet that evidence suggests that the new variant was more transmissible than Delta. But the ministers are not all on the same page. Some are saying that will be uncalled for to have vaccine passport, but others are saying that is the way to go, backing the Prime Minister all the way. But that is not the only guideline the Cabinet is considering. The Daily Telegraph is reporting plans are also on for Christmas work at home order. Tough COVID rules under consideration. Of course, officials working on COVID policy have carried out a modeling on the economic impact of urging people to work from home over the festive period. Now, the New York Times is reporting U.S. warned Putin of cost for any Ukraine invasion. Russia giving assurance that that is not the case, but the movement of troops and ammunition along the Ukraine border suggests that Russia may have something of its slaves. But the U.S. and its allies, they are also warning that there will be implications if Russia invades Ukraine. Ruben, the master of implication.
Okay, let me start with the implications
Yes.
of the steps taken by the Lagos State government with regard to what the state has described as an impending fourth wave. We made a point earlier on that Lagos State seems to be far more proactive than other states of the Federation, which is why it is quite a surprise that in the infographics made available by the MPCDA the other week, Lagos State came up short at number 6 behind the other states, which seem not to be apparently doing anything extraordinary, either in terms of mass vaccination campaign or awareness or the prosecution of the war against the pandemic. However, yes, the state government is in order to have said, look, based on data, 0.1% R rate by the middle of October has now gone up ahead of the Utah season in Lagos State up to about 6%. That in itself should raise concern. Over 78,000 cases in Lagos, 71 cases successfully treated, over 600 are still in the management centers. So we understand where the Lagos State government is coming from. However, some of the measures that have been rolled out, how practicable would they be? We've just been told that for you to attend an event in Lagos during this season,
Social events,
you must take a rapid antigen test, either at the venue or a PCR test before
24 hours before
24 hours before you go to the Miliki joint. Well, would that be a practicable thing to do, considering the multiplication, the multiplicity, the peripatetic nature of the average Nigerian, even from Wednesday to Saturday? Some people have no other job from Wednesday. They're just going from one party to the other, collecting small chops all over town and changing from one garment to the other. How do you track that?
No, Ruben, anybody who has that kind of approach to partying You should just do the little thing. Have your vaccine card. And you can hop from one party to another.
Another thing is about the vaccine passport.
Yes.
That the Lagos state government is trying to introduce. That for you now to go to a party, you must show proof of vaccination. And if you've not been vaccinated with even one dose, you take the vaccine at the party. It doesn't look so practical. I had made a point the other time that, yes, Lagos state government used to have a task force, and that task force was effective, briefly, on an episodic basis. Is the Lagos state government trying to reintroduce that? And now a new role has also been given to a body called the Lagos State Safety Commission. This Lagos State Safety Commission is expected to give approval for any event that you want to hold anywhere in Lagos State. About 57 local government administration areas in Lagos State alone, where every week, you know, the partying and jollofing crowd is not given up. Okay, does that Lagos State Safety Commission, does it have the capacity? And we have been told also that for you to hold any event, you pay about 75,000 naira. How did the Lagos State government arrive at that tax, extra COVID tax of 75,000 naira for you to hold an event? Why must it be 75,000 naira? Who will collect it? Who is going to give the receipt? Is it another attempt to make money through COVID? So these are some of the questions that the people are likely to ask. I think while the Lagos State government is committed to increasing, vaccination, we're told that measures will be introduced before this week runs out about how to ramp up vaccination and how the Lagos State government is committed to ensuring 30% vaccination. All of those ideas are in order, but the state government must be prepared to offer better details. And it's not just even in Nigeria, even in the United Kingdom, as you pointed out, cabinet ministers are daggers drawn. Yes. They're fighting over whether the government of the United Kingdom or Britain should introduce a plan B and whether or not people should go about with vaccine passports. But at the end of the day, public safety is what is paramount.
What do you think? I want to go to Biden and Putin's call. What do you think about that? Because I think Putin is just so unrepentant. I mean, what happened when he invaded Crimea and he got chucked out of the G8? He didn't care.
You don't expect the president of Russia to buckle.
I really don't.
This
is my point. I really do not expect that.
Yes, threats will come, warnings.
He's completely uncowed.
But we just hope that, because we're in the 21st century, that Russia does not make the mistake of invading another country.
Putin doesn't know where he is. He's harkening back to the days of the empire. He doesn't care.
But I think he is also feeling left out in the big league. Perhaps he's also using this as a bargaining chip.
No, but that's Putin's plan all this while. He always wanted the Soviet Union back. That's Putin's plan.
Any nation that stays outside the framework of an international rules-based system should expect, reaction from the international system. And that's what's going to happen. And the allies have shown that they will not hesitate to hit Russia very hard, including descending on the rubble and making it very difficult for Russia to sell its oil. But we'll see whether Putin would dare the international system. Thank you very much, Emmanuel Fene.